Shout out to First Them News for sending me this story, and it is coming out of Utah. And it's crazy. I just did a story coming out of Utah. And now we're back in Utah again, where you have these 6 individuals right here who you can all see 5 out of the 6 are Asian, 5 out of the 6 are women. And then you have the one lonely PC man. And looking at this picture, y'all can at the title of the video, y'all pretty much already know where I'm headed with this. So this article says that 6 people were arrested after a massage parlor investigation. You already know what that means. Just on the title that I gave this and just what I read here. Now, what's interesting is last year I did a video similar to this, but it was in New York. And then, of course, you know the whole Robert Kraft situation down in Florida with the same thing. Are y'all starting to see a pattern here? A lot of these massage parlors, these Asian ran massage parlors, are just a front for prostitution and sex trafficking. And how ironic that the one guy that they have in the picture is a PC man, because there's always been this thing where they said that how a lot of PC men fetishize Asian women. And a little tidbit to those out there listening, when it comes to IR dating, when it comes to like the rate, PC men and Asian women are like at the top as far as them cohabitating with each other. So that's why this didn't surprise me. And then look at what happened with Bob Kraft, another PC man, and he's around a lot of Asian women. And I'm sure the one that in New York that I did was the same exact thing. It's very rare, not saying that it doesn't happen, but it is very rare that you'll find a black man caught up in these type of situations. Not saying that you won't find it, but it is scarce. So with that being said, I'm gonna go. Not only just black men, but almost any other group of men. It's usually always a PC man that's caught up in this. But let me go ahead and get into it. And it was posted on February 5th, 2021. At least 6 people have been arrested after a multi-month investigation into alleged human trafficking, prostitution, and money laundering at multiple massage parlors in Utah County. American Fork Police received an online complaint in September regarding a new quote-unquote Asian massage parlor at 376 East 60 South in that city. The parlor's website offers sexually oriented massages, the anonymous complaint said. The complaint stated that if a male was sent in and became naked, the masseuse would touch him inappropriately, and if you do not complain, she will continue and even make offers for more, aka that happy ending. A probable cause statement says. The statement filed by an officer of the American Fork Police Department said Asian massage parlors are often operated by criminal organizations, and workers are often victims of human trafficking. And a lot of those victims are other Asian women. You know, it's so funny. They like to talk about how Asians are being so discriminated against, but they never like to talk about these stories right here where they'll take other Asian women a lot of times against their will, and some of them may be underage, and use them for sex purposes. They're not going to talk about that though. Some of the Asian females are forced to live in small closets or rooms within the massage business premise and given only minimal means for survival, the police statement says. If the Asian female victims are not living on the store premise, they often live with several other Asian women who are also victims of the human trafficking organization in apartment buildings or homes owned or rented by members of the criminal organization. The probable cause statement, which was nearly identical of all suspects, said surveillance was conducted and found the woman who applied for the business license as Sunflower Massage, and found she also owned Relax Wood and Small Rainbow, both in Orem, and Magic Massage in American Fork. Now listen to the names of some of these places: Relax Wood, Small Rainbow, Magic Massage. Like the names of these places that they come up with is crazy. Detectives, and it almost sound like the name of a porno, I'm gonna be honest. Detectives have found through surveillance that most of the female masseurs appear to stay at the different parlors they work at. The probable cause statement says detectives have rarely seen the female workers leave through multiple hours of surveillance, both physical and electronic. Through my training, experience, and conversations with other officers who specialize in this field, I have found that rarely, if ever, are the Asian females involved in being trafficked allowed to leave the business. This is done to control the female individuals and keep them involved in trafficking. Detectives performed multiple undercover operations where officers were sent in as patrons to the different massage parlors and found each of the above listed massage parlors solicited sexual acts in exchange for payment, the statement says. Detectives performed undercover operations on Sunflower Massage, Relax Wood, LLC, Magic Massage, and Small Rainbow. At the undercover operations, the Asian female masseurs solicited sexual activities in exchange for money. This was denied by undercover officers. On Thursday, officers served a search warrant at an American Fork massage parlor. One female worker, Yan Tomney, and a massage client were located. Post Miranda, the male admitted to finding the massage parlor on dark websites and communicating with a contact number with price and services provided. The male admitted to agreeing on a $60 purchase for a massage and a happy ending. There it is. During the massage, the man told police he and the woman agreed on another act for the cost of $140. Post Miranda, Tomney told officers she arrived in Utah last month from Boise, Idaho, and was in the process of purchasing the Sunflower Massage Parlor from another individual who was involved in human trafficking using money she had earned working at the business. The suspects are June Lee, age 36, of Orem, Zhao Ling Wang, age 42, of American Fork, Yu Ming, age 39, of Orem, Tomney, 44, of American Fork, Ju Ying Wang, 56, of American Fork, and Joseph Edward Ferreri, age 54, of Salina. Let me just say something right quick. A lot of Asians claim that they don't like to be stereotyped because of their names, but if you notice, all of their names, with the exception of that one whose last name is Tomney, and I'm wondering if she's married, and that's her husband's last name. But notice that many of them have the last name Wang, Ming, they have Ying and Ling. So it's not so much of a stereotype if most of the names often sound like that, because almost all their names sound exactly the same from the first, the middle, and the last name. The only difference is one of them has the last name Tomney, and that's why I said I believe she's married and she's taking on her husband's last name. And of course, the PC man, his name is going to sound, different from theirs. Charges facing the suspects are, and I'm going to list them under Lee. This is the June Lee person. Human trafficking, a second-degree felony. Money laundering, a second-degree felony. Pattern of unlawful activity, a second-degree felony. Aiding prostitution, a Class A misdemeanor. 2 counts of prostitution, a Class B misdemeanor. Zhao Ling Wang's charges are listed as human trafficking, a second-degree felony. Money laundering, a second-degree felony. Pattern of unlawful activity, a second-degree felony. Aiding prostitution, a Class A misdemeanor, and prostitution, a Class B misdemeanor. Ming and Tomney charges are listed as money laundering, a second-degree felony. Pattern of unlawful activity, a second-degree felony. Unlawful and unprofessional conduct, a Class A misdemeanor, and prostitution, a Class B misdemeanor. Ju Ying Wang charges are listed as pattern of unlawful activity, a second-degree felony, and 2 counts of prostitution, a Class B misdemeanor. And Ferreri, who is the PC man, his charges are the pattern of unlawful activity, a second-degree felony, and aiding in prostitution, a Class A misdemeanor. The 5 female suspects are being held without bail. Ferreri was ordered released on a $5,000 bond and with multiple conditions. So that's the entire story right there. And I'm not surprised that he got the most lenient part of it, because they probably going to try to treat him like he was a victim when he really wasn't. I wonder if he was more so the pimp. I wonder. But then again, he should have got more time. But anyway, they said none of them have a bail set. Like, they're keeping them all there. He's the only one that got a cash bond, but they said multiple conditions. They didn't announce what the conditions were. So it's very vague as to what his conditions are as far as that goes. But you never ever hear the Asian community really talk about this. And like I said, and many of you have said in previous videos when I talked about this as a subject, that this happens more often than people care to know about. Mainly not because people don't care, but because the media doesn't put it out there like that. Like, this is going to be a blip on the radar, and then it's going to go away. Like, after you probably hear me talk about it, you may not hear about it ever again. Like, think about it. When I did that story back in about what happened in New York, which was similar to this, have you heard about any updates coming from that story since? And not to toot my own horn, but if I was one to keep keep tabs on that story, I would probably be one of the few people, if not the only person, you would ever hear any updates about this from. And I don't even live near or in the state that it happened. Just like I don't live anywhere near or in Utah. I don't know anybody who lives in Utah. And I knew people who live in New York who didn't even hear about that story. But the only way it would stay in rotation is if a big person was connected to it, such as Robert Kraft and what happened in Florida. That's the only reason why that story stayed in the news, because Bob Kraft is the owner of the Patriots. If he was just Bob Kraft, the nobody, then nobody would have cared about it. They would just talked about it, probably locally, if that, for a hot second, and literally a hot second, and it will go away. But the fact of the matter is, when it comes to human trafficking in the Asian community, let's just focus on that. They don't talk about that. This is what they're doing. They're human trafficking women and putting them off as prostitutes and making them stay hostage inside the premises. They said they locked them in closets. Closet space is not big. And then you got to think, like, they're in there with all the products. And so they got to sleep in there. And then they put multiple women in a closet at a time. So it's not like just one per closet. They probably have piled them on top of each other. And when they're ready to use one, they come in there, snatch one out, use them, send them back, and pull one out, snatch, do their thing, and put them back like a revolving door. But these massage parlors, they need to all be investigated, especially if they're Asian owned. Sorry if that sounds stereotypical, but it is what it is. We as black people get stereotyped for any little thing every single day. So we just like passing the buck, and it is what it is. Y'all let me know what y'all think about the story down in the comments. Like, share, subscribe if you haven't done so already. Please text the number that is pinned down in the comments below so you can receive notifications every time I upload a new video.